Hello everyone, Space Metal Ferrari 248 here with my review of the New Hampshire race, also known as the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301, with, of course, our special guest, none other than Blaze Life 334, aka Alex Hoover.
Hey guys, or known as Alex Blazer.
Alright, so review for Sunday's race. Of course, let's start off with the dirt duels. They were actually pretty fun and hectic to watch. I was on the edge of my seat for dear life, but the most notable part of the last dirt duel was when Trent Boudreau got dumped by that failure of a driver known as none other than Corey LaJoie. And then, no doubt that Trent Dunham was going to go right after fucking Corey LaJoie for going completely varlet upon him and dumping his ass for the lead because he's just unfucking talented. Thankfully, in the following laps, justice was served and black flagged his ass. Daniel Hemrick, he was racing his heart out and nearly tried to move Chris Transo, don't remember his last name, but he tried his absolute best. It would have been rad to see Daniel Hemrick win a dirt race in person, but I'll take second. Not the biggest fan of his, but it was still cool seeing him race nonetheless. And it's better if you guys probably already know because all of you follow me on my other social media accounts. We met Ryan Blaney. I got my Chase Elliott hat signed by him nonetheless. How rad is that?
Yeah, it is very rad. I also got to meet Ryan Blaney too.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Ty too, even though he's not a Ryan Blaney fan. But it was still nonetheless pretty rad to meet that bastard.
AKA T.Y.L. Norton.
Yeah. Alright, on to Sunday's race. Do you really want to know my take on the first three stages? 3 words. Kyle Busch show. That means nothing interesting, intriguing, enthralling, riveting, engrossing, or even remotely notable happened those 2 said stages. At all. It was Kyle Busch from the start of the race to the end of stage 1 and stage 2. The only time the leaders were able to at all have anything for Kyle Busch or be right on Kyle Busch's tail less than a tenth of a second is when they hit lap traffic. That's not a good sign for a racing package when the only time there's lead changes is when they hit lap traffic. That's the big problem Dover sustained, and now Loudon suffered the same fate the first 2 stages. Luckily, Brad and Truex were able to had enough dirty air from the lap cars to bypass Kyle Busch, but that wasn't enough at all. Even when Kyle Busch wasn't leading, Denny Hamlin somehow managed to get at least 5 seconds ahead of who was it, Ryan Blaney or
yeah, it was Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney. It still was super mundane and tedious. I almost fell asleep. I was more fascinated by a butterfly hovering right above the speeding stock cars, hoping it wouldn't descend down to the traffic of those stock cars being completely splat.
Yeah.
And thankfully the butterfly just flew elsewhere doing his or hers nature stuff. But then stage 3 shook a lot of things were starting to shake up. Quite a lot of cautions here and there. Of course, Jimmy Johnson, do I have to say it again? Jimmy Johnson and his fucking bad luck. Same case with Chase Elliott.
Oh man.
The reason
start me on that one.
You see, the reason why I'm not even descending down to an unbridled rage, because it's so fucking excessively poignant, or poignantly excessive, that I've gotten used to it at this point, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's not a good sign for the Chevrolet camp when Kyle Larson yet again had a dud, and both Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson's high water temperatures proliferated through the damn roof and lost their damn power steering. Chevrolet, you progressed only to then falter again. What the hell happened? Everyone else is snapping their winless streak this 2019 season. Why can't Jimmy? Hello? You're 2 Hendrick cars away from having everyone in the game have at least one win this season. You already made it as far as Alex Bowman winning a 1.5 mile track, even with competition from Kyle Larson. Say what you will about Chase Elliott supposedly having that win served to him on a silver platter in Talladega. Well, what's there to say that Alex Bowman wouldn't have won without that caution? If Hendrick cars still would have had the chance to win, even without the caution. So the whole caution excuse for Jim as a way of demeaning or berating Chase Elliott's win at Talladega is invalid in and of itself. But thankfully, you were actually able to catch up to the leader, the stage 3, because Denny Hamlin was at least right on to Kevin Harvick's right rear door, passenger door, even trying to perform the drag race move, like a lot of the typical finishes you see in the Gen 4 days and the 2 finishes from 2016. But if you put too much downforce on these cars, clean air is just going to be the main dominant factor of this race. But if you get rid of the clean air, it would only result in less downforce, and that creates an aerodynamic failure. So, how about we just do... How long is it going to take for me to say get rid of the splitter, get rid of the tapered spacers, keep the aero ducts equal, keep the spoiler about 6 inches, get rid of side force,
make the quarter panels even,
and then you have a good race car. Do I have to keep stressing this? How long is it going to take for me to stress this until NASCAR finally gets alarmed a wake-up call?
They probably won't because they're lazy.
Is there any other sport that is so impotent to improve the race cars? I mean, if the racing was good, all while the playoffs being the most abhorrently unrealistic means to justify a championship for a driver, then at least would be more forgiving of it. 2014, 2016, and 2017 are perfect examples. What are we gonna do? But hey, Kevin Harvick won, and Joe Gibbs fanboys are mad.
Yeah.
And I'm loving every minute of it. Well, except for the fact that Martin Truex Jr., a good guy, is on the Joe Gibbs racing team. He's like the only Joe Gibbs driver I like. There's always has to be some good side and bad side to Joe Gibbs. For instance, a while ago, the good side to Joe Gibbs was Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth, the evil side, Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Nowadays, bad side, Kyle Busch, partially Denny Hamlin, neutral side, Eric Jones, good side, Martin Truex Jr. Double-edged sword, I guess. So yeah, I pretty much said all there is to say to it. So, yeah, this race generally could have been a lot worse. It was 0 out of 10 the first 2 stages, but once the action started to pick up, it raised itself to about at least a 6.7 out of 10, or to be even more fair, 7.2 out of 10. Not the best race, but definitely could have been worse. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Space out.